Thanks, Rich, for the introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Tsilavo. I'm from Madagascar, and I work with BCM, a national NGO funded by the Bioculture Group in Mauritius. And we oversee crucial sites on the island, including the southwest, which is a home for the radiated tortoise. My presentation today is the title of the presentation is Preserving Rarity, Conservation Efforts for Madagascar's Radiated Tortoise. So I'll talk about what we're doing in conservation or kind of activities we're doing. But first, I'll start with the background. So Madagascar is a biodiversity hotspot with astonishing level of endemism. Approximately 85% of its vascular plants, 92% of its reptiles, 99% of its amphibians species are found nowhere else on Earth. However, Madagascar also faces pressing challenges, including economic and political crisis, which exacerbates the damage to the environment, habitat loss, and continued illegal harvesting of species. These threats have led to a serious extinction rate, endangering numerous species, including the iconic radiated tortoise. The radiated tortoise is primarily found in the dry and xerophytic forest of southern and southwestern Madagascar. It is classified as critically endangered by the UCN. The species is threatened by the loss of its habitat, converted to agricultural land, and is also subjected to extensive illegal harvesting, both for local consumption and the international pet trade. These practices have decimated their population in the wild, further pushing the species towards the brink of extinction. So as we can see in the map here, the range of species is continuously shrinking. The shape in blue represents the past range in 1965, and the shape in orange is from a study conducted in 2012. So it's definitely shrinking year after year. We selected Beseli in Itampulu for our long-term conservation as our long-term conservation sites based on 3 key factors. First, the forest is home to a relatively healthy population of radiated tortoise, and habitat is in good condition. Second, the threats to the tortoise and their habitat are manageable and can be reversed. And third, local communities are open and willing to work with a conservation project. So in this presentation, I will go through an overview of a project first, and then discuss about our achievements and findings, and the challenge we've encountered. And at the very end, I will outline the future goals, the future plans. So again, just like I said, the project is established in Beseli. The Beseli forest consists on 980 hectares of thorny thicket situated along the coastline on sand dunes. The forest is managed by local communities and locally protected through traditional beliefs and practices. The access to the area is allowed for village residents, primarily for the collection of materials like branches, leaves, and so on. And it can also be accessed for grazing cattle. However, forest clearing, transformation into cropland, or any other permanent uses are strictly forbidden. The main threat to this fragile ecosystem is habitat degradation caused by a number of factors, including, again, the unrestricted movement of livestock within the area. So we can see this map, the forest in orange is situated in the core of the current species range and is delimited in the east side by croplands. So this side are all croplands. And on the west side, by the shore, can be accessed directly by the sea. So to ensure the protection of the tortoise population and its habitats, we've hired 10 community members as forest guards who carry out regular patrols in the forest to detect and report any incidents or infractions. Also, using a standard sampling technique, we undertook a survey which reveals an encouraging figure of approximately 5,100 individuals, equating to around 6 individuals per hectare. This estimate will be used to predict how the population change over time. Also, to ensure the accuracy of our data, but also to be able to assign identification and for more security if in case of poaching. For each individual, we embarked on a continuous census effort. We've divided the entire forest into multiple 4-hectare plots where we're conducting systematic searches, specifically targeting the preferred habitats of the animals. So to date, we've microchipped over 4,500 individuals that were measured, weighed, and released, of course. Among this, we've observed that 83% are adults and 70, a very low, I would say low, 70% juveniles. So you can see here 2 of our guys microchipping and collecting morphometric data from the creature. The census also recorded a significantly high number of tortoise deaths, accounting for a total of 18% of the encounters. One potential factor contributing to these losses is the suspected effect of drought. Additionally, we've identified traces of canine bites on a few adult tortoises, raising question about potential predation. However, on a few occasions, we have also observed the remains of dead tortoises being torn apart by stray dogs, leaving also canine bite marks on the shells, suggesting a predation, which also can be a scavenging, just like Dennis said earlier. Our efforts to understand these events have led us to some interesting discoveries. With the assistance from our colleague from Mauritius, we employed camera traps combined with sand pits for 2 nights, and I've captured images of wildcats. Furthermore, local villagers have reported the presence of small carnivore in the area. We don't suspect this species is capable of killing adult tortoises, but it is definitely capable of predating nests and killing hatchlings. In response to our concerns about potential competition between livestock and tortoises, we created a designated exclusion 4-hectare zone. This zone prohibits cattle from entering, but it allows tortoises to move in and out through opening positioned at the base of the fence. In under a year, we witnessed substantial regeneration of the grass layer within the exclusion zone. As we all know, the grass layer is of particular significance for the radiated tortoise, as it not only serves as a vital food source during the rainy season, but also provides essential shelter for smaller individuals. We are now talking with the people at the University of Tulia to ask their team to assist us in quantifying and comparing the biomass over the season for all the strata. I mean, in exclusion zone versus the normal zone. This will certainly help us understand a little more about how cattle affect the forest. We partnered with the University of Turia to conduct socio-economic study to identify the needs of the local community. The findings indicate that farmers are the largest group, followed by fishermen. Only one fraction of the population engages in livestock. But it turns out that their main activity, which is much bigger than agriculture, is the livestock farming. But livestock farming is not considered as a source of income or used for consumption due to traditional beliefs. Cattle herds symbolize wealth, strength, and personal success, making herd size an indication of societal status. I'll come back on that later. In response to community requests and survey findings conducted in the area of Beseli, education is a top priority for the communities. They want their kids to be educated, alongside with healthcare, good healthcare, and clean water. So the Beseli Secondary School serves 9 nearby villages within a 10-kilometer radius. But with poor infrastructure, where students endure crowded classrooms with 50 students each. So education is vital for development and must not be overlooked in conservation efforts. In cooperation with the Regional Direction of National Education, BCM provided 6x6 meter classrooms with 50 benches for the community. Of course, it's not enough, but it's a start, and hopefully more in the future. So we have faced a number of challenges since the start of the project. First, traditional customs and practices related to livestock. These practices might affect the habitats and survival of the tortoises by creating competition for resources. But the fact is, the agreement we made with the community when we started with the project was that they would allow us to work in the forest, provided that they are free to use it the way they used to, meaning that collecting materials and grazing their livestock. And as I mentioned before, though it is not considered a source of income or used for consumption, cattle is a very important thing for them. And so are all the things related to it. So in suggesting a solution for both parties, this needs to be taken into account. The second challenge, that there is also a lack of education in the community, which often jeopardizes all attempts at communication. Fortunately, we recently found the right person to help us. He knows the culture, dedicated to conservation. He knows the people, and is really good at communicating and getting ideas across, especially the importance of protecting the forest and their habitat, and the importance of what we're doing. Another significant concern is the impact of climate change, particularly the prolonged period of very low rainfall over the past decade. This drought-like condition has put additional stress on the tortoises and their environment, but have also impacted on the life of the communities in general. And of course, as a result of these challenges or difficulties, we've seen weak adults, a lower proportion of baby tortoises, which could be the result of unsuccessful nesting and a worrying high rate of tortoise mortality. So as a future goal, it is imperative that we learn more about what is causing the death of tortoises, especially predation, but also the effect of grazing on the tortoise population. Identifying these threats is the first step towards effective conservation. Improving education within the communities is crucial. This knowledge is the foundation of change, but by educating ourselves and others about the importance of tortoise conservation, we can make a lasting impact. We will also propose an awareness raising program that engages the communities and encourages them to participate actively in monitoring, protecting tortoises in their habitats. Holistic grazing, in my opinion, is the most difficult of all. But we'll see if it's applicable. But the fact is that responsible grazing practices can benefit tortoise habitats. Suggested by a colleague, the goal is to allow enough time for the grass layer to regenerate before the next cycle of grazing. It is still a work in progress. So, but it is clear that community involvement is key for making the program work. Oh, sorry, I'll come back. Also, we must prioritize the care of the hatchlings and provide assistance to weaker individuals. Their survival is crucial for the overall health of the tortoise populations. We are in the process of setting up a head starting program, which will begin soon to enable hatchlings to grow to adulthood, ensuring the survival of the next generation. Finally, initiating a reforestation and a restoration program will help us rejuvenate natural habitats and provide materials for the communities. The population of radiated tortoise was estimated to be over 6 million individuals in 2013. No recent study has been carried out to my knowledge, but I would estimate that it is currently around 2 to 3 million, or even less, given the pressure trends. This is still high compared to its sister species, Astrocalis vinifera, which numbers under 200, if I'm not mistaken. However, the species is likely to become a rarity in the coming years, given the relentless pressure and lack of responsibility of most of the key players. Our contribution is small, but we try to make it count, make it in a way that every action counts, by controlling where we can, or trying to find a solution or compromises when it's necessary. The project is still in its early stages, and we hope to be able to share our successes and failures with you at future symposia. So thanks, everyone. Thanks for listening. And also, thanks to these people and to this institution, either it be support for financially or logistically. Thanks, everyone.
Great talk. Thank you very much, Tsilavo. Do we have any questions from the audience? We do. We've got Lindsay. Do you want to kick off with the first one?
In 1970, I traveled from Fort-Dauphin to Béarn, and I was shocked to see they were cutting primary vegetation to make charcoal. You didn't mention charcoal production at all. Is this no longer an issue?
It is still an issue, but not in this area. It is still an issue when you go a bit further inland, because there you find more didieracea, those big trees. But on the coastline, you don't have those kind of trees, just bushes and thickets. So, yeah.
Really great talk. That was, I need to go and see that place in the tortoises.
Okay.
2 questions. To what extent are these tortoises embedded in local culture? And could that in some way lead to a transition, if they are embedded in culture, to away from cattle and towards having a pride in number of tortoises instead of cattle? If they're not using the cattle for anything in terms of food or export or whatever, they might as well have some sort of measure of pride in the amount of tortoises. Is that any
Use. Yeah.
Could that be done?
We were thinking about it, and based on my experience of, not living with them, but amongst them for a few years, it's hard to say that tortoises have the same value or same respect compared to zebras or goats. Those are still on top. But we try to, I would say, educate, to teach them the importance of the tortoises within the area. So that's why we have the guy helping us in communicating. And
kids, when you have the school, you finish the school and tell the kids, kids always want to be cooler than their parents, right? So just tell them, goats and cows is so yesterday. Sponsor a tortoise, mate.
Okay, we'll do.
See if there's any further questions. There's a comment from Richard Lewis, who I believe is in Madagascar. Surely the tortoises have no value as they are taboo.
They should have taboo. There's a belief that the presence of a tortoise in an area can bring rain for the forest. But this is not the only beliefs. There are also beliefs that the spirit lives in the forest, and if you don't, I would say, kill zebra or kill goat for them, they will not bring rain for you. So you have to think about those things. So again, I would say keep on saying this, but education is key in it. So you're right, saying the kids, we should talk with the kids about it. Oh, yeah.
Any further questions from the audience? Okay, well, thanks again, Tsilavo.